Dr. Mojahedi is with us now.
Yeah,
So,
I'm ready.
currently points, we will take them after the presentation because we are not allocating the whole session just to what we are going to say. We will have this question and answer session after it, and you can keep your points and questions for that time because Dr. Mujahid is with us and he has, as usual, a limited time. So he's going to introduce the project very briefly. Then we go to the details of it and we can talk more. And the floor is yours, Dr. Mujahid. Please go on. آقای مجاهدی بفرمایید در خدمت.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello, all the ladies and gentlemen. I would like to extend my greeting and welcome to all participants in this webinar, and hope that this important scientific event is in the field of Persian or Unani medicine. Will be able to manage fundamental studies in the field of Mizaj and achieve the level of the scientific evidences that are necessary for this school. As you know, the Mizaj is the basis of the important base of the Unani and Persian medicine, and we don't have enough evidence for diagnosis of the all kinds of methods, as you know, in the healthy people and these and patients. And if we want to develop school as the evidence-based school, we need to have exact document about the diagnosis of the Mizaj and its relationship between all kinds of peoples and all kinds of diseases. And we need to have enough evidences for the management the diseases according the individual differences according the Mizaj. Um, we start the project that we called it Mizaj Research Project, as explained my dear colleague Dr. Shams. To start this project, we called one colleague from all over the country, especially those who were interested in Mizaj researches, from faculty members, student researchers, and other people that worked on the Mizaj, and they and have some articles about the Mizaj. And we answered us, and we applied this manage and start this project. And at the first stage, we collect all articles published in the scientific journals, and we have access to them due to web and some like um, database and journals, and in the broad search we collect more than 300 articles about the Mizaj. After categorizing the topics and subjects, 8 specialized teams were formed in the 8 field formulated subjects to Mizaj, and now we are currently reviewing evaluating the articles, and are working on that we will explain more by my dear colleague Shams. In the near future, a review article will be written in each field, and finally a comprehensive book titled Evidence-Based Mizaj Studies, a Roadmap to the Future. We will publish this book, and which will be a guide for researchers interested in Mizaj worldwide. While thanking all of you for your participation, I would like to leave future explanation in this regard to my dear colleague, Dr. Mohammad Ali Shams, Head of International Relations at the Mizaj Research Institute. and he will explain more about the Mizaj research research and about the Mizaj project. And I hope by your cooperation from all of the world, we have a scientific network and scientific relationship between each other about the this important research in the Unani of Persian medicine. And as you know, individual differences is the hot topic in Persian in the Persian and Unani medicine according to the concept of Mizaj, and is important topic in the allopathic medicine, as you know, in the field of personalized medicine. I would like we could help each other to make an evidence-based school in Unani or Persian medicine. Thank you very much for your attention, and I ask my dear colleague Dr. Shams to manage the meeting and webinar, and at the end of this session, we have contact to each other by the Mizaj Research website, and inshallah, by the managing of the Dr. Shams, we have your cooperation in this big and important project. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, dear Dr. Mojahedi. Just to see if my voice is okay. Dramatically, is my voice okay now? Quality?
اگر با همون در واقع اکانت قبلی تصویر صحبت کنیم بهتره.
Okay.
How is it now?
اوکی.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Mojahedi. I try to wrap it up in 25 minutes. Then we'll go to the questions and answers, which is much more important for us because that's the part that we are going to communicate and we hear from our colleagues in other countries, in other continents. So we'll start because we are talking all the time. We're talking about Mizaj studies, and this is the name of the project. Either we refer to it as Mizaj Research Project or Mizaj Studies. We are talking about the collection of mainly scientific papers and articles published in journals. That's what we mean by it. Of course, it could go to other gray literature like dissertations in theses and any other type of scientific publication that could be found on the net or elsewhere. But basically, we're talking about art. These are the manuscripts that are submitted and then reviewed and finally published somewhere. And this is how we got the collection that we have right now, and we're going to expand. So when we say that an article is considered one of the Mizaj studies, this is the case, what you see on the screen. Any research paper, including Mizaj as one of its central concepts or variables. This gives us the dichotomy of theoretical or fundamental studies that discuss the concepts and its roots in the references that we have. And also the other part that goes to the empirical side, the practical side, what we call scientific research, when we do experiments, we measure things, and we are dealing with variables. So both were included in our search, but at a certain point, we are going to focus only on the ones that deal with Mizaj as a variable that could be measured and then compared against other ones, or when we want to see the effect of other variables on Mizaj, or vice versa. And we are talking about mostly published, these articles are mostly published by the scholars in one of these medicines that are named we know that Persian medicine and Unani medicine are basically the same. And recently, we are seeing that other names are popping up in other countries, like Uyghur medicine, Anatolian medicine, Arabic medicine. So most of them are referring to something that happened during the Islamic civilization, and the dates before science came from uh, Greece, and then there were some developments and modifications, and now we are seeing it with different names. So this is one of the issues that we are going to address uh, in the rest of the presentation. But when they look at the articles that we have, they come from these backgrounds and under such titles. So we are dealing with a wide range of articles in terms of place of Mizaj in the design of the study. This means when you look at different articles, what kind of variable Mizaj is if that a study would be different. It could be the independent variable, the dependent one. Recently, in one of our discussions, we were saying that Mizaj was considered as a compounding variable, something that actually controlled so that they could see the effect of, for example, uh, mm, diet and eating habits on the way that MS disease was progressing in the patient. So here, Mizaj was measured, but it was also controlled. So we are dealing with a range of studies in terms of where Mizaj is in the general design. This is another type of variation that we have. Let me go to the next slide now. Now, like any other scientific inquiry and efforts, we have to start from the problem and the statement of the problem. Why we are doing this? Why we are sitting at a webinar and some colleagues from Iran are calling for opportunities for cooperation between countries that, as I mentioned, are working under the same principles with different names. Uh, these are the questions that we have in mind when we're trying to answer. Are the current studies of Mizaj on the right path? Uh, it means after some years, when we look back, can we be satisfied with the achievements that we had as a collective body of knowledge or not? We are dealing with scattered people working their own personal interests in different areas, and still we do not have a grand strategy, a big picture that connects them to each other somehow, and goals and objectives are not clear. So do we have a clear big picture of the field right now? If yes, we are more than happy uh, that others show it to us. We think that such a big picture does not exist now, and we have to move toward creating one. Or maybe we can say, we take it relative. We do have picture, but it is not as encompassing as it should be right now. We have to promote it and modify it. Temperament or Mizaj. This is one of the problems that we have when we are going to search for articles related to Mizaj. Well, the word Mizaj has been recently, like 10 years, the past 10 years, there was an effort to establish this as the main term that should be used by the scholars in this field, not the temperament, which was used from the far past in Greece, and still it is used in some areas, in some other languages. And one of the problems is that temperament is used in psychology today a lot. And the meaning is considerably different from what we mean by Mizaj. So it's better to uh, focus on the second word because it gives us an opportunity to distinguish with other things that are called temperament but are not the Mizaj that we need. This is another issue. when you're dealing with the text of the article, the titles of the article, and it could be one of the guidelines that we have for the future. So that the problem that we have right now to locate and identify the articles will decrease, will reduce. Uh, I mentioned the Mizaj medicine with different names. So one of the options is that we continue with the way that we are going forward right now. Everybody just trying to build their own national identity. Iranians say Persian medicine. Uh, Other countries do it. Fortunately, Indians have not done it. They call it Unani medicine, as the root says, it's coming from Greece. But we are seeing Anatolian or Arabic. So this shows a kind of efforts, maybe I call it not very scientific efforts to use it for identity and ideology. One alternative is that all of us could gather around Mizaj medicine as the word that unites us all, and it helps us to work together instead of focusing only on our national identity. So now, another problem in the area of these studies is that we have state organizations and private sector that could work on it, work toward building that big picture and making sure if we are on the right path or not, and trying to open ways for cooperation. As we know, the state organizations have their own limitations all the time in different ways. In one way or another, in each country you go, when you're dealing with the government, there are a lot of problems. There is bureaucracy, there is uh, hierarchies, and there are prohibitions that should be granted, and things like that. So we think Mizaj Health Research Institute, as one of the active ones in the private sector, is trying to fill the gap and do what others, the state organizations cannot easily do. And this is one of the aims that we have. I think that yeah, so this is what is happening right now. This webinar and the whole effort was launched by, as we call it, Medi Mizaj, and the official name is the Mizaj Health Research Institute in Iran, which is totally coming from the private background. The head is Dr. Mojahedi. There are other colleagues that we have there. And we are free from all the limitations that governments and the states in Iran or other countries could put on such a project. We are open for cooperation in Iran and other countries with organizations. There is no problem with that. But the most that they want to limit us and just slow us down, then we will move away and do what we have in mind to have the scientific freedom and have better results. Now we get to the necessity of Mizaj research project. I think, I hope that the dear attendees here now have a primitive idea of why you are doing it. We are trying to do something that has not been done in the past, and trying to have a big picture, trying to unite people in different areas of the world because of the commonalities that we have, the dates, the references that is common between us is either Arabic text, Persian ones, in other languages. We want to work under the title of Mizaj Medicine, and that's why we are calling it the Mizaj Studies Project. And this is the necessity. So we are not doing it out of just some curiosity or doing something that is similar to other projects. This is something new, and we know that it is difficult, but we are going to do it, and that's why we're calling for your help and support. Okay, so to the slide. Like any other project that needs management, we have a vision and a number of missions. So the vision includes this. The reason that we are reading the past is that we need a plan for future. We do not want just to summarize articles and publish a number of systematic reviews, whatever, and then say goodbye. We are doing this so that we have the base for creating guidelines, for assessing our achievements and finding better ways in future. So this is directed towards future, but we have to do it by reviewing the past. Hence, systematic reviews that we will talk about in a few minutes. I mentioned that we need unified guidelines, and the issue of being evidence-based that was mentioned by Dr. Mojahedi, and maybe most people are talking about it, but this is the point. We have and different things that we have. The article claims that it is evidence-based, but when you go to the details of it, you see that they say that we have measured Mizaj, we have identified people's Mizaj, but you don't see any scale, measurement scale in there. So this could not be called evidence-based. Evidence is something that you have gathered objectively, and more importantly, now other people are able to do it again uh, by the scientific path that you show to them. Everything should be clear, everything should be standardized uh, in an acceptable way. That's what we call evidence. So this is one of the biggest problems that we are seeing right now, and this is the vision, this is the point that we are moving for. Another way to put it is that when we talk about evidence, uh, it could be a statistical or empirical evidence. I mentioned a statistical one. When you're talking about a measurement scale, everything about the formulas that were used, the data collection that you had, the pilot study, the way that you created some items and removed some, kept the rest at the end, everything should be clear. And on the, but say it should be empirical. So by evidence, we don't mean just citing references and trusting whatever that we have from the past, whatever that are in the books and claimed by respected scholars of the past. This is not the evidence that we are looking for. Everything should be checked again, experimentally and empirically. Exactly the way that we believe that the scholars in the past did, but maybe they did not record it as the way that we can see it right now. Maybe there were records that were somehow destroyed during the history. Anyway, if we do not have the empirical evidence for the claim that could be right claims, we have to check it again to make sure that it works. So both on the mathematical and the statistical side and on the practical empirical side, this is what we call evidence, and we have to move forward. And this is about the sound methodology. Is again what I explained in statistics. Uh, what I mean by being faithful to references, because there is an upside of this coin. Some people just limit themselves to the text, the references that they have, and they avoid to test it empirically. There are some other people that they are so immersed in the modern terminology and the modern way of thinking, the modern science, the conventional medicine, that they forget that there was something in the past that we have missed. And that's why the whole world, the World Health Organization, everybody, they are now moving back toward alternative medicine, traditional medicine, and stuff. So we are going to stay faithful to the valuable heritage that we have from the past. We are not going to give it away when we move toward conventional medicine. There should be a combination of the positive and the strong points of both, and to have a balanced view in this regard. Now, to fulfill the vision, we have number of missions that have to accomplish. Now to get to the point that we're talking about this Mizaj research project, we can look at it in two ways. Once we have the Mizaj research website, I try to open it right now from the link that I have here. But because you only see my PowerPoints, I have to change my presenting options so that for a moment you could see the slides. Then please go back to the PowerPoint again. Okay, this is the homepage of the Mizaj Research website. There are things in the menus that I shortly mentioned. Then I go back to the presentation, and there you can see how they are being, what is the database and activities behind the site. Here we have the webinars. We are in one of the webinars right now. There were ones also in the past that they have been uploaded in YouTube. And you can see the notes here. Yes, you can see our colleagues from the past, both from Iran and India, the webinars that we had, and all of them are recorded and available on YouTube right now. From South Africa, from Iran, from India, Pakistan, other countries. And we are building this collection as we go on. Now we are moving toward this Mizaj research project that we have right now. But we are continuing the path that we in the past. And there's a part for colleagues, again, from other countries. The profile is here. We are going to complete this profile as we go on. And we want you to let us know about yourself, your activities, and there is an email that will be announced, and you can be in touch through our WhatsApp groups and email and other ways of communication. There's a part for articles. The important Mizaj articles have been gathered here, and we are building the database and adding to it as we go on. So this is the outlet that we have for presenting the products of the processes that we go through. Now let's go back to the process and see what is happening in the background. Let me just go back to the presentation. Some hands raised because I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation. When we are done with the presentation, then we go to questions and answers, and we can hear from you and answer your questions. Okay. So that was the site. Now, just mentioned here, there is a part, there will be a part for a collection of standardized Mizaj scales that are available right now. Dr. Mojahedi will mention them at the end of the session if we have time, the ones that have been created, and there are some other ones that are under construction, and they would be available for researchers who want to use them. These regular webinars that we had in the past and we are going to have in the future would be uploaded there. And there would be multinational workshops. For example, in the case of how to build and standardize Mizaj scale, we are going to have workshops, and scholars from different countries can tell each other what they know and learn from each other. And cross-national journal club. I will talk about this more when we go to the project that we have right now, because a part of it includes basically having the kind of journal club that lead to some analysis and then writing the reviews on the articles. Now, the project that we are talking right now has two main parts. At the same time, in a parallel way, the number of systematic or scoping reviews are being done by our Iranian colleagues, and we are open to cooperation and to have co-authors from other countries if they want to join the teams that we have. And also, there is a comprehensive reference book that is going to be published under the support of some state organizations in Iran. It depends on the negotiations that we have with them. Mizaj is managing this. It could happen with their support as well to have more circulation and opportunities to disseminate the work. It will be first written in Persian, then you are going to translate it to other languages. But the systematic reviews are authored in English from the beginning. So there are commonalities between the two parts, two modules of the project, and also differences. One common part is that we are summarizing the articles. In the book, we have a summary part for each article and then the review. And there are a number of chapters. I will talk about them. And for each chapter, there's a counterpart. There's a team that is working on a specific and separate systematic review article in that area. These are the areas that I'm talking about. At least right now, we have identified 8 areas. So we have 8 different teams, in each of them including scholars specialized in that area, other than their interest in Mizaj and Mizaj medicine. We are also interested in the areas that you can see here. So team 1 is working on Mizaj scale standardization. The head is Dr. Mojahedi himself because he has made the main questionnaire and he's going to help others make the rest of this collection. And he's interested to review the articles that are in that area to find the strong and weak points, the ones done by other scholars. The other one, team 2, is working on Mizaj and diseases. Around right now, 50 articles have been found in that area, and they are doing a search and expanding it. Mizaj and intervention, this is the only category that seems statistical. We are talking about the design of the interventions because clinical trials and interventions are very important to us. So we have allocated different categories to them. Then we have Mizaj and a range of variables that could be categorized as anthropometrical indices are there, and their relationship, correlation, and different types of association with Mizaj is studied in those articles. Paraclinical features, psyche refers to any variables that are coming from psychology, psychiatry, or any other type of variable that could not be categorized in other teams. Mizaj in genetics is very, very important to us. And Dr. Steinmetz is here from Austria in the symposium that we have at Tehran, and he was with us a few weeks ago. He did mention that there are opportunities for exploring the concept of Mizaj and objective measures of it when we think about genetics. If there is something in people that is poor, and then it as Mizaj, and it could be a part of it that it could be inherited from one generation to another. So we have to explore it in terms of science of genetics and genomics. And in that team, the head is Dr. Zendepuri, one of our Iranian colleagues that is very interested in that area and specialized in area of genetics. And body functions is another category that, again, we could not categorize them under other categories. And it's related to physical activities and any other kind of functions that is done by the organs or the body as a whole. So right now we have these 8 teams. And if you want to look at inside the structure of the 2 modules, when you go to the chapters, each chapter is going to have an introduction, introducing the articles in that part. And Then we go to articles one by one. Each of them, there is a very brief summary of the method and results, and this is important part because method and results you can find them in the article itself, but the evaluation that the teams are doing and the suggestions they have to actually promote for the achievements and do better further studies. That is what we are focusing here. And then the whole chapter will have the conclusion. So we are seeing the book as something that helps any new researcher in this area when they want to do something related to Mizaj. They can locate themselves and their interest in one of these areas and then see what others have done in the past and see our suggestions.
Manager of decision, if you have the sound of Dr. Shams, please report. And if you don't have Dr. Danishpad, please continue your decision. Dr. Danishpad, do you have the sound of Dr. Shams?
Okay, it seems that the Dr. Shams is totally disconnected from our meeting. I would like to say hello to everyone. So happy just to join you in this meeting, and I'm so sorry for just being late because I'm here right now with my little baby girl in my hands in front of my laptop. And in this situation, I just want to say hello to you and join your meeting. I would like to thank Dr. Shams for his presentation and detailed presentation of the future plans of our research team in Mizaj Institute. And I don't know, just he will rejoin us again or not. My colleagues just tell me his situation, but I know that some of the colleagues just raised their hand, and I think they want to point something. We are in this just gap between the speakings of Dr. Shams, have the time just to have their comments, if there are any.
Thank you very much, Dr. Babak. Before Dr. Shams connect to us and we continue the session, my dear colleague from India and my dear colleague, for example, from another countries, my dear Dr. Carl Steinmetz, can you have some viewpoints about this project until now? And then we will have decision by Dr. Shams, and we continue about this project. Dr. Abbas Zaidi, can you have your viewpoints about this project?
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum and good evening, Dr. Morteza. It's very nice to join this webinar on Mizaj, which is really a topic of discussion because in the Persian medicine or the Unani medicine in India and Pakistan, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, we are working on Mizaj, but still we don't have any reliable and validated questionnaire or the tool to evaluate the Mizaj. So I appreciate the efforts taken by you and your team to develop the validated and reliable questionnaires so that we have, because in all our studies, we use all the parameter as reliable and validated. But when we come to the assessment of Mizaj, so we feel a lot of problems on this aspect. So I congratulate you and all of my best wishes are with you. I hope these efforts will bear fruit and definitely will have some reliable and validated questionnaire in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As you know, we are translating the some standard questionnaire to English language for Indian people, and by your cooperation, we will develop this project. And inshallah, we have a large team, a big team, and a network team to develop this project. And going out toward and evidence-based Mizaj diagnosis project, inshallah. My dear colleague from Delhi, my dear colleague, Dr. Khurshid Ahmad Ansari, I visited you some years ago in the Delhi, the Hamdard University. Do you have any comment?
Assalamu alaikum to everyone. And really, the discussions on the temperament of the Mizaj, one of the finest philosophy and theory of the Unani system or Persian system. We really feel privileged to have you, Professor Morteza, here, discussions with other your colleagues in Iran. Um, uh, basically, though we are working hard to set a standardized guidelines for assessment of the temperament or assessment of the temperament of even adviyat, the drugs, it's really very interesting to have the discussions in its fullest form. So let us hope for the best, and I extend my gratefulness to you all that you are trying hard to make it possible as soon as possible to bring out a set guideline which can be determinant for the temperament or mizaj of an individual, so that we can conceive and popularize the personalized medical system, which is the demand of the time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ansari. After I visited you in Delhi some years ago, we go back to Iran and went back to Iran and try to have cooperation with our universities, as you know. Because due to problems between governmental connection from our university and other centers, we couldn't have a good cooperation governmentally. But privately, we have we can have good cooperation and and go on our project and inform you that after that years until now we apply more than 15 projects about the standardization of questionnaires and about the assessment relationship between Mizaj and some physiological and physical characteristic and some disease. And we will report in our project. And fortunately, my colleague in Iran are working on this important concept, and we will inshallah report to you. And I hope that our
دکتر مجاهدی I'm very sorry ببخشید آقای دکتر یه پیامی داره میاد که این جلسه 2 دقیقه دیگه بسته میشه. یه لحظه من از آقای دکتر مسعودی در راهنمایی بگیرم که اگر این اتفاق افتاد دوباره چجوری باید لینک بدیم و برگردیم. آقای دکتر مسعودی این حالتی که this call will end in 2 minutes رو باید چیکارش کنیم؟
اینا متاسفانه کاری نمیشه کرد. بعد دوباره دوستان برمیگردن.
No problem. We will have another link in the virtual space and start the new session. No problem.
Okay, so in 1 minute this is going to be finished. Just check whenever you had and you got the link, we'll send it again.
Please send my individualized link and I will register my colleague in the new session. No problem. Dr. Shams, when you left the session, we used the comment of my dear colleagues from India and are waiting to hear from Dr. Steinmetz, and you go on decision after that. Please continue. Dear Dr. Steinmetz, we are recording now, just started recording. Please tell us your viewpoints about this project, and then my dear colleague Dr. Shams will going on the session.
Perfect.
So thank you very much for inviting me. We in Europe, we are enchanted by your tough work, by all the studies. So the different scholars, the professors, the medical directors of the different clinics, they really appreciate a lot the work you have already done. It is very important for us because in traditional European medicine, we have the same paradigms of humoral medicine. And for example, I'm involved in a rehabilitation clinic, and they try to create digitalized patient records with Mizaj. And so I would be tempted to discuss all the topics you were mentioning. So first, the terminology. We have Latin terminology, so we have temperatio, intemperatio, temperamentum. Then there's a Greek terminology, so I'm really absolutely thrilled to go into discussion about your terminology and to standardize our language so that we can work together. And yes, I also was enchanted by the variety of topics you were opening. And I only can promise you that, well, I'm here in Vienna, Austria. I will collect as many colleagues as possible. But of course, not only from Austria, there's Germany, there's Italy, there's France. And so just to summarize it up, your work is highly relevant for Europe. We are a small community. TM is not a huge group, but there are some strong participants, and I will try to collect them so that there is also a European group sharing your visions and participating, contributing. Thank you very much for your attention. And a last warm greetings to all the people I know already from my last visit in Tehran.
Thank you very much, Dr. Steinmetz. He was the only one from Europe at the international symposium that we had at Tehran. And right now, again, I think he's the only one from Europe. And your presence, Doctor, is very valuable to us because you are the link. You are going to be the center of the hub to other colleagues in Europe, and we are very happy to have you here. And whenever you talk about the similarities between what you have in Europe and what we have in Asia, Africa, other continents, it's very promising for us because we know little about what you have done, and it was very interesting to realize that how similar the works that we are doing has been in the past, and now the visions that we have for future, talking about genetics and other stuff. I think there are a lot that we can do together, and it is very nice to have you here. And here I should mention that we are going to have at least one webinar and maybe more focusing on what is being done in Europe and hearing more from Dr. Steinmetz and probably other colleagues from the perspective that they have, and then expand this much further, the ways that we can cooperate. This is only the beginning. Okay, because I was absent for a while, I think Dr. Mojahedi, other colleagues from India, maybe they want to make one.
My dear colleague, Professor Dr. Shariq Ahmad Khan, as we, and I visit you, Dr. Shariq Ahmad Khan, as you remember in your home as your guest in Aligarh. And I'm happy to visit you in virtual space. And if you have any comments about this project, please tell us. And after that, my dear colleague, Dr. Shams, continued his presentation. Sorry, your microphone is off. Please open it. Off. It is off. Yeah. It is off, and now.
Yes, the doctor's microphone is not open yet. Dr. Masoudi, can we open it from this side, or they have to do it themselves?
No. He had to open himself.
Yeah, we do not have the
Near
option.
near the window point, please open the microphone.
There is a mic sign on the top right corner on your screen. If you press that, it will toggle and turn into the. It doesn't work. Maybe if there's anybody around, maybe they can show it to you. But I think you're the. Yeah. So until the problem is solved there, maybe we can go to another colleague and then go back to your doctor. I think I'm seeing one of our Iranian colleagues from Canada or another country. Is that correct? Dr. Ali Reza. Could you open the mic and tell us about yourself?
Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. Yes, my name is Ali Reza. I live in Montreal, Canada. I am the founder and president of Canadian College of Integrative Medicine and also Canadian Board of Integrative Medicine. So I'm proud to be here and helping to grow traditional medicine, Persian traditional medicine.
Thank you very much. In the there were only 2 slides left in the presentation. We are not going to back to it visually, but I will mention them. One point was this: one of the aims that we have is to find all the colleagues, either the Iranian ones outside Iran or the non-Iranian ones. So we are going to identify the nodes of this network of people. So we are not just looking to produce some products and articles and books and be done with it. I think the people that we find and the network that we can make is much more valuable than those products. So seeing you here, I think that aim, at least in this extent, is already fulfilled, and we are very happy to have you. Just tell us very shortly about what you think about this whole effort, and what are the suggestions that you have. What are the possibilities that you think are realistic and could work in future?
Sure, yes. So what I think, because I had participated in many conferences since like last year in US for integrative medicine. 2 weeks ago, I was in the Boston, Harvard Medical School. 1 month ago, I was in San Diego, California for attending another integrative medicine. And I think the future is going to be integrative medicine for sure. There is no doubt about it. And now, as you said, it's very important to have a good network, to communicate to other, like to bring it, like I can see how people right now, they're more going to have natural remedies, holistic remedies, like, and this is our time to show. And one of the things that is very important, like communication, as you said, like networking. That's true.
Okay. So from what you said, and we can hope that in future we can, with your help and support in that area of the world and the connections that you have. So if we can connect the small networks that we have inside countries to each other, then we can think of a more global one that unites us against the forces that are in any way against these movements and don't want the integrative medicine to make its advancements. So we are in the one united front right now. Thank you very much for attending and being with us. We'll be in touch in future. Thank you, Doctor.
My pleasure.
So I'm not sure. Yeah, the mic problem there is solved.
Now
Salam alaikum. Go on.
My colleague from. So now you are listening me?
Yes. We have your voice. Go on, sir.
Yeah. So I am very much delighted to be here with you on this very occasion. And I am remembering you were there with me for quite some time in India. And I was very much happy to meet with you. This program, what you have organized, is realistic and very much important in the scientific interpretation of Mizaj and the standardization of Mizaj questionnaires. So I will be happy if there will be some outcome with scientific interpretations and standardization of this evaluation parameters of Mizaj. Mizaj, when we talk about the Mizaj of a person, it might be of two types. One is Mizaj Jibilli. This is inherited original Mizaj of a person. And second one is this acquired iktisabi. So we have we have to have this mechanism to identify the Ghibli as well as this iktisabi, because the person become indisposed, then it comes the iktisabi mizaj, acquired mizaj. Otherwise, the realistic mizaj of a person is the Ghibli. So we have to have knowledge about this original mizaj of a person, then how much it is deviated from the inherited mizaj to the acquired mizaj. That we have to correct with our medicines. So this is my very small submission at this time, and I hope that the discussion will come out with a meaningful dialogues about the standardization of Mizaj. And I am happy to see that you have organized this seminar, this webinar, and I must congratulate you on this very occasion. So thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you very much.
Professor Dr. Tariq Ahmed Khan. I hope to visit you in India or Iran as soon as possible. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So I think hand is raised there, but Dr. I got his name. I forgot it now. The respected colleague that has raised the hand, please go on.
I think if you continue your presentation and finish that, and after that we will answer the service of the people, other people that raising their hands and continue and hear their viewpoints, inshallah.
Sir, the presentation was almost done. I mentioned it. There was just one slide left in it, and I did mention the content of it in the discussions that we had in the past few minutes. So we can move on to questions and answers. It was the network of people, and it was the structure of the teams, that there is a leader in each team, which is an Persian medicine expert. Then we have a methodologist that checks the statistical rigor of the articles that we are reviewing. And there are people interested or specialized in the area of that team, so that this group have the valid place to review the articles and make the suggestions in the area that they are working on. So that was the end of it. Then at this point, we wanted to move on to questions and answers to hear about the suggestions. And I should mention that we are going to accept applications of co-authorship in the articles that we are working right now. And there is this email of Mizaj, mail@mizajresearch.com. We will share it again in different groups, and we will send it away in email. And people who are interested, they can send an application, they can introduce themselves, the area of interest, and maybe they can enter one of the teams. And this is the nature of the work that is being done in different 8 teams. Each week, they have a weekly session. They gather together in Google Meets. They bring articles, they discuss, they write their analysis together, and the methodologist is there. He makes the comments, and they are building this actually manuscripts that are going to be published as book and articles later in Persian and English. So the English version and the articles, our colleagues from all over the world, they can join in, because we are at the stage that we will fix the teams. Right now, they are open for new members, but in a month or so, it will be fixed and the teams will be closed. So there will be a deadline. We will send more details about this kind of cooperation in the current project. with the terms of the cooperation and the time deadline that we have, and the way that they can express their interest in cooperating in this or future actual activities. So I think this is much more important right now that we have our colleagues here to hear from them, hear their questions and points, either in terms of if they want to cooperate and they can express it right now. If not, if they have questions, if they have hesitations, doubts, anything, reservations about what we are doing, it's better that they raise it now and we think about it and move forward from there. So number of hands are raised.
Before Dr. Sabir Hussain, my dear colleague Dr. Zahra Khatun Zaidi from Delhi, as I have been his guest in Delhi some years ago, she raised his hand. Please tell us about your comments, Dr. Zaidi. Dr. Zahra Zaidi. I don't know, some people that work on Mizaj, for example, Dr. Ashia Sultana in Aligarh and Dr. Tafsir Ali and my other colleagues, I would like to inform them, dear Dr. Shariq Ahmad Khan and other colleagues, inform them that if they want to participate in this project, they inform us by the email and in virtual space that we can use his specialized his experience in this project. Thank you for your information to them. Dr. Sabir Hussain, please open your microphone and tell your comments.
Dr. Sabir Hussain, do you have our voice? Because we see that you have raised the hand. We can have you right now if you can open your mic. Let me see if others have raised the hands.
Mr. Shams?
Yes, Mr. Zaidi, you were making a call to me. Yeah, I'm with you, sir.
Actually,
Go on.
we have Professor Ghulamuddin Sofi as well in our discussion, I think, and he has worked a lot on the Mizaj. So I think if he's interested, he can be asked for invited for the comments.
Great, thank you very much. I have to mention that Dr. Zaidi has helped us a lot to connect to our Indian colleagues and also in Sri Lanka. So thank you very much. And the respected colleague that was mentioned by him, you're open to him anytime that he wants to raise the hand and open the mic. Dr. Daneshfard from Iran is one of the main figures in the Mizaj Health Research Institute. The scientific committee is with us because he's ready to talk. He can go on, and then the other ones, also the one mentioned by Dr. Zaidi. Dr. Daneshfard, we can have you right now.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Shams. I just miss you when you were disconnected in the meeting. Just want to say hello to you, and just once again, thank you very much, and I appreciate your great effort for just launching these groups. And I'm sure that with your very expertise and of course with your supervision, all of these divisions and subgroups will go on well, and we will have very good outcomes from these projects. And once again, just want to welcome all of our colleagues from all around the world, and I'm just very happy just here to see our colleagues from different countries, from the very west in the northern America, from Europe, and from the east and India and the surrounding countries. And just it's very very interesting for me myself, and I hope just to continue this connection and just grow up this network, focusing on our scientific projects. And as you mentioned, all of them very in very good details with the categorization that you mentioned about them. And I'm just want to once again to appreciate all of the colleagues for joining us in these groups, and mainly in the Mizaj Institute. And hope to see you again in future meetings. Thank you very much. Because I just want to leave the meeting. I'm forced to leave the meeting, and just want to once again just thank you and for all of the colleagues to joining us in this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you very much. On a more personal note, maybe the reason he's going to leave is that he has become a father recently, and I hope the newborn will bring barakat to his life and the whole project.
Yes. I just said to colleagues that when I just joined you with some delay, my little baby girl just was I was holding her in my hands, and at that situation I just joined you. And
hopefully she will participate in our discussions in your future.
Yes, she just showed me a very interesting interest, because he just get calm when I was beside my back of my laptop and just joining the meeting. She just get calm and just go to a deep sleep. And I'm just I'm just very hopeful just to continue my connection with the group beside my girl. Okay, thank you.
Great. God works in mysterious ways. So we have, I think Dr. Saber Hussein was ready to talk. He opened her camera. Also, Dr. Ghulamuddin, that was mentioned by Dr. Zaidi. So, Dr. Ghulamuddin, we go by you first and then the rest. Go on, sir. Your mic was open, but it is now closed. Yeah, it's open now.
Very good evening and good wish from me. I am Professor Sophie from National Institute of Unani Medicine, Bangalore, India. Basically, I was in connection with Morteza Mojahedi sir. His works I have seen, and they were very fruitful for our these works here at NIUM Bangalore. Even he had shared a lot of material with us. But basically, when we take this project, when I see various papers from Persian medicine, uh, usually they use, say, for example, in some diseases also, they use this validated questionnaire, which has been developed for this healthy humans, Mizaj of healthy humans. But they are using it. And there are some things which we say moderate in hot and cold, and there is some ratab and yabis Mizaj. Our books, classical books, they don't take such categories into account. They usually have 9 types of Mizaj. Either it will be Har Yabis, Har Ratab, Barid Yabis, Barid Ratab, in the same vein. So I feel those things we have to correct, and because there have been in literature, in this reported documents, there are certain inconsistencies in reliability or with that questionnaire. So that needs to be more improved. There are reports also we see in the journals also those reports, and we at NIUM we took it as a valid scale and we prepared our own scale, and then we saw Cronbach alpha and then reliability coefficients and then validity coefficients for human Mizaj. And though it served us a very good tool, but ultimately when we went for the analysis of the data, we found these discrepancies which I have shared with you. Secondly, what I was saying about when we use healthy humans, we should have one type of scale like Mojahedi scale or what we have developed at NIUM, National Institute of Unani Medicine. But when we have Sui Mizaj, its characteristics are very much different. Say, for example, Ibn Sina, he has given the various parameters for Galbe Akhlat, Galbe Mizaj, and Mizaj of Ozu, the organ. What is the Mizaj of the organ after disease? All those parameters, they are somewhat 17 in number. If we take that into consideration, then we need to develop a new scale for Sui Mizaj. Second, what is acquired and other things, that does not matter too much. because basically in human Mizaj, we have genetically we have our phenotype which is dependent upon our genes. So from the childhood, the tendency of our what we acquire in adulthood, the Mizaj, that will be similar. Say for example, one if there's a child, he is haratab, usually we say. But if has genetically, if he is Bharat, there will be sluggish moments than the child who has haratab Mizaj. Similarly, we don't see that that age can modify Mizaj. Age can only alter to certain severity, but it cannot just change it completely. If genetic disposition is haratab, the tendency will be similar, but in old age, that tendency will decrease. It will be lesser in degree only, but the Mizaj will be similar. So these things we have to consider, and I think this platform you have given us, it is a special one, and we should very much be thankful to the group who have created it, the people who have created it, so that we may disseminate accurate knowledge and well reliable knowledge to every person of Persian or Unani medicine. Thank you, sir.
You are welcome. I have tried to share my screen from the cell phone. Is it visible? Is someone just because I want to make a point on the picture? Can you see my shared screen, Dr. Mojahedi?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can see. We can see. We can see there is no
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
only
Yeah.
black table and columns and rows are made.
Yes.
That
Yes.
is visible to us.
Yes,
Okay.
I just make a short point, then we go to other colleagues because our colleague was Dr. Ghulamuddin was mentioning the very complexities that are involved when we get to the work of measuring Mizaj and considering different categories of it. This is one of the points that Dr. Mojahedi is very interested to make amends and modifications in the way that there are some simplifications done by our colleagues in different countries, Iran or India or elsewhere. If when we go to Mizaj, we only consider the four main categories uh, that are mentioned everywhere, the basic ones, and we don't pay attention to the main difference between healthy Mizaj and distemperaments or Sua Mizaj, and then the different subcategories that they have in terms of if they are unihumoral or multihumoral, of it, or if it is the dominance of a single humor of a single quality, they are reflected here in the picture. And this table was published in a chapter in the book that was actually given to the audience in the symposium, international symposium in Tehran. It is going to be published also online in near future. And we are going to work on this. So this is only one representation of the complexities involved, and we should not limit ourselves to the four category point that simplifies everything down and reduces the reality to something that which is not even, this is not the way that, as Doctor mentioned, we had it in the past, and there are much more details and subcategories involved, and we are going to work on it in the current project and mention this as one of the problems of the many articles that have oversimplified the issue in the way that they shouldn't have. Okay, we can go to Dr. Saber Hussein, I think, and it's a long time that he has been ready to be with us. Dr. Saber Hussein, if I'm saying your name correctly. In the meantime, Dr. Asqari, I think was your last name, sir, right?
Yes.
Go on, please. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So I just want to mention something regarding the integrated medicine. As I told you, integrated medicine is going to be the future medicine for sure. But what missing right now in integrated medicine is the concept of Mizaj. And when I was in Harvard 10 days ago, I was talking with the people because they were talking about the Ayurvedic medicine, Chinese medicine, and also I met some Chinese professor because they have a hot and cold. Even in their presentation, they brought up this point. They said, "Oh, we have a cold and hot." So what I realized to like to introduce better this concept of Mizaj, it's better we start with the quality first, like hot, wet, dry, cold. Let's say this food has a drying effect on your body. This food has a heating effect on your body. That is going to be more digestible for people, because if we talk about Mizaj Jibrili, they're not going to understand what we're saying. So what I suggest is because I coach 40 people 2 months ago with the concept of changing their food by quality. They had a constipation, they had a chronic constipation for many years. And I went through the changing their food based on the quality of their food that they're going to use. For instance, if they have a dry constipation, I told them you have to go with the food that they have a moisturizing effect. And you should avoid any drying effect food, like ginger, like, turmeric. And that's how I got many results. Like I would say 95% of this group, they were cured because I categorized them in two groups. What I'm saying is present the Mizaj concept, I believe, because traditional Chinese medicine also, they have a hot and cold, we have to combine, we have to go through them. We go, okay, we have this Mizaj, we have this quality also in, from Avicenna's point of view. And that's how we can be kind of we're going to show the concept of Mizaj after. This is what I believe. This is, I think, integrated medicine is missing is the concept of Mizaj, but we have to enter from that way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very good point made by Dr. Ashari. I just want, in connection to what he said, I want to present another one of other projects that is done in cooperation between Mizaj Health Research Institute and also the Office of Traditional Medicine at the Iranian Ministry of Health. And this is the result of the project that we are doing. This is, I'm mentioning this because, Dr. Asghari, you can see the shared screen, right?
Yes, I can see.
Yeah, I'm mentioning this because he was explaining about the fact that the concept in traditional medicines have to be explained in modern terms so that today's audience can absorb them and understand them. This project is done with that aim in mind. We are trying to provide English equivalents for the concepts that we have, although people are already using some equivalents. But the idea was two main functions. Was for scholars and researchers when they are going to mention this concept that in their articles, they have to have a unified reference so that after a while it is inserted into the mesh and people recognize the concept with only one word. And the other one is because Dr. Mojahedi is always involved in these sessions as well. In the part that we are going to describe it, Dr. Mojahedi insists that we have to describe it in modern terms so that it shouldn't be just a translation from the old text, but we have to explain it in a way that conventional medicine and people who are accustomed to conventional medicine can understand the concept. This is the PM terminology website, and so far 200 vocabulary have been put here. We are in the third phase of this project, and we are going to, in near future, add another 100 words, and it is a very big and going and continuing project, and we will explain it about it more in our Mizaj research site. There are connections between two sites. These are our modules from the same project. This is another side of what we're talking about. Thank you very much, Dr. Asghari, for making that point.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Dr. Ghulamuddin and Dr. Saber Hussein, they have their hands raised, I think, again. Anyone who can talk, because we haven't heard from Dr. Saber Hussein, maybe he can start.
Yes, sir. About this terminology, standard terminologies, in India here for Unani medicine, we have Unani morbidity codes, which we have correlated with this ICD 1011. It is as a supplementary for it. It has been published. And what I think, this Unani medicine and Persian medicine, they are not different things. We also teach here Al-Kanun Fitib, or Razi's book, and then we have Zakire Khwarzam Shahi, and then we are teaching Bukrat and Jalinus. Little bit different, but usually the authors are similar. If you are taking this terminology, standard terminology together, you can have a perspective from our side, what we have done. At least that should be common, so that whenever we write a paper or something, or we communicate to each other, so we don't have some differences among us. What sir was pointing about, that integrative thing, that would have been better for if it is very much integrated. I think Unani and Persian medicine are not different. So, in terms of terminologies, we can integrate easily. If you are developing it, you can see our Unani mobility codes and other things. You can easily incorporate that in your system also. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. That is correct. I have to mention that the first reference that we checked was your valuable work in India 3 years ago when we started the project. That was I remember the session I had with Dr. Mojahedi. He had the print of the book that you were mentioning, and he said this is the work that Indian colleagues have done. It's very valuable. Now we have to promote it. We have to add to it. And yes, that's the similarity and the common ground that we have. We have to work on it and make it unified. Thank you very much for mentioning that. Okay, still Dr. Saber Hussein has raised a hand. For a moment, we had his camera, but unfortunately, in that time, we couldn't have him. Right now, I think he's not available. Is it Dr. Asghari again raise a hand? Or is it another Ali Reza? Because I just see the first.
I asked my question. I'm good, thank you.
Okay, because the sign is still there. Okay, so I think Dr. Zaidi, can you just add a point, because you are very important to us and you have helped us a lot. If you want to make some short comment.
Mojahedi, Dr. Shariq Ali Khan from India, Dr. Ghulamuddin Sofi, Dr. Ali Reza, Dr. Khurshid Ansari. And I think these kind of discussions must be held consistently, and there is a need to work hand in hand, because as Dr. Ghulamuddin Sofi was saying, that we have a lot of common things and similar things. So we can move this way and we can help each other and promoting these Unani or the similar Persian system of medicine. So I hope that by continuous efforts of your team and all our Indian and Bangladeshi and Sri Lankan team also, I think Dr. Shifa was there in this presentation, but he left now. Otherwise, so it's good that you are having on board all the Unani persons and the Persian medicine scholars, and I hope this will bear fruit in future, inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I think for some moment, Dr. Mojahedi went out and he came back now. Dr. Mojahedi, if you want to make, I just have to mention, I have to thank all the colleagues that help us to circulate the events and let others know. And if there is anything left that you couldn't stay here because of some technical problems, we will be in touch in WhatsApp, through email. You can make points. We can plan the future webinars. There is still a lot to talk about. So as I mentioned, this is only the beginning, not the end. And there would be some parts of important parts of the discussion that we have, because the session was recorded. We are going to have it edited, and in simple parts, we will publish it, and so that all of us can focus on the points that we made here and move on from there. So, Dr. Mojahedi, if you are with us and if you want to make some last remarks to wrap up the session, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much for your presentation and all colleagues that tell us their important and good comments. And I emphasize that this is the first step for management and arrangement, the exact and um, uh, evidence-based research about the Mizaj. As you know, it is very, very important for us. If we couldn't have an acceptable evidence for epidemiologists and methodologists in the current medicine about this concept, we couldn't define from this. And we had to develop the exact evidence that they accept that. And we are doing that in Iran. And we are waiting for all other colleagues that they go on there and apply their studies in this field according the exact method, exact analysis, and exact, for example, diagnostic methods. And I emphasize that is the start. And we start now this management and this arrangement by the help of one by one of you. And we can be a big teamwork around the world and have weekly or monthly sessions to arrangement the work and have a connection with us by the Center of Mizaj Research or Mizaj Research website, and by the supervising and my dear colleague, Dr. Shams. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a nice time at this night in the east, and evening at the west, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mojahedi. I just want to, before ending the session, I'm just going over the messages that were made here. And the important ones. Important question. Dr. Shaker has said that how we can join as team members on this topic. As a clinician, we had many discussions. Very interesting. Dr. Shaker, if you are still in the session, as I said, we are going to send information through email and WhatsApp about how you can connect to us, how you can send an application to join one of the teams. We will send you the details later. And Dr. Ghulamuddin Hassan, Jazakallah. Thank you, sir. Dr. Shamim Faruqi, if I've pronounced well, how to wear a world to our ancient Unani and Persian medicine. If I understood the question correctly, this is the main objective. We are going to first, we have to share our similarity and talk about the challenges, and then this is what we mean by networking, to let others know about it by publishing our work, by discussing it, and also finding out about what others are doing, like what we are trying to do from with the help of Dr. Steinmetz in Europe and other areas, Dr. Asfari in Canada and United States, and Dr. Salehi has just again mentioned, thank you very much for she has sent the web address of the site that I mentioned. All of this will be shared again, and to remind our colleagues about the possible ways that we can go on. I think we can wrap up the session. Thank you very much for your valuable presence here. And Dr. Steinmetz, if you want to make the last remarks, we can have you.
Well, I have the impression it's really a field where Europe can learn a lot from Eastern medicine. Yeah, I just will try to bring together the important few professors in the different countries. And yeah, just looking forward to really connecting things, to have a kind of timeline and really proper steps how to develop things, because in the end, I think this contribution of temperament research, of Mizaj research, it's urgently needed. I already mentioned rehabilitation clinics, they're really waiting. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the next common steps together.
Thank you very much. The last point that was mentioned by Dr. Steinmetz about the practical side of it, and all of this is being done. We are not just going to be stuck in academic work and theories and making and doing measurements and providing results table in the articles. All of this is going to work and to become practical, and people like Dr. Steinmetz and the experience that they have in Europe and teach us a lot as well, so we can learn from each other. Thank you very much. I will just, we can wait for 30 seconds. If there is anybody else, just open your mic and let us know about what you think, if you like, without raising hand or asking for permission. If not, after the 30 seconds, we can end the session. And it is going to be Yalda night, tomorrow night at Iran, so we are going to celebrate it. And one of the things that we do is praying for all the people of the world, whenever they are, no matter what religion or gender or race they are, we hope the best for them. So I'm doing it in advance tonight because we're together here. Okay, the last 30 seconds and then we're done. Thank you for the comments that are being made. Dr. Asghari, as an Iranian who also celebrates the Yalda tomorrow night, and Dr. and Isparia, if you want to make any points as the last remarks, you can have it.
It became more popular here in Canada because there are many Iranian here, so even the Canadian know we're going to celebrate Yalda. And as Dr. Shams mentioned, we are going to pray for peace around the world.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Isparia, your mic is not open if you wanted to make a comment.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shams, for your presentation, and happy Yalda for all of Iranian.
Thank you very much. So you're ending it on a good note. Thank you for your presence. Bye. I see you in future webinars, and we will stay in touch. Bye.